allow me to welcome everyone to this first ever online discussion on a lot, not just culture as it is being thought by people on various issues. We have called it Conversations, Identity, Culture, and Our World, where we're going to discuss a lot of issues, including ICH. So as we're getting into this discussion, I would like to ask everyone to just mute their microphones. You can just mute our microphones. Then we'll ask, very soon I'll be asking the presenters to unmute their microphones so that they can make their presentations. Yeah, so I'm saying welcome to this presentation. We are discussing culture and other aspects of our lives, identity, the world in general. So there are so many things that we are discussing. And this is a weekly program. We're going to have it at this time every Wednesday. And it is my hope that as many people as possible will make contributions so that we have these conversations on various issues. My name is Gankhanani Moyo, and I'll be hosting this show. For this particular show, that's the inaugural one for this evening, we are looking at COVID-19, technology and human relations. That is our point of discussion. And we have two discussants or presenters. These are Marita Banda and Clement Siame. Okay, so I'll ask once again that we mute our microphones. So as we are joining, please let's mute our microphones. At some point, we'll invite you to unmute your microphones, then we'll be part of the conversation. So welcome to Conversations once again. I'm going to ask our presenters to make their presentation in 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, we'll start with Marita. She's going to make her presentation on the topic at hand. After that, we'll turn to Clement, who is also going to make his presentation for 5 minutes. After those presentations have been made, we'll allow members of the audience, participants, yourselves, to make comments, ask questions, but basically discuss the subject at hand. I know you might have other topics in mind. Well, for now, say those topics will also be given an opportunity to be discussed on this forum. So welcome everyone, and thank you so much for being part of this discussion. Allow me to hand over to Marita for the first presentation. Marita, please, you may unmute your microphone and give us your presentation.
All right, thank you very much, Gankhanani. So this topic, technology and human relations, in relation to COVID-19, I have outlined a few ideas. So first of all, COVID-19 is a global public health crisis. So no one is exempt in the world. And for it being a public health crisis, it means a lot of our systems have been affected. Systems of culture, economy, and lifestyle, among many others, have been paralyzed. And this is not unusual. There's always disruption of our life, and these disruptions are either internal or external. That is just the nature of being human. But right now, what we're being called to is global. So it is external, and at the same time, it is also internal, because we have to adjust in many ways the way we live our lives. And I don't think that life is going to be the same henceforth because of this condition that we are currently experiencing. And then COVID-19 has also exposed the cracks and the gaps in our relationships and interactions. So like I said, there's always disruption in our life from different angles. So if you look back, for instance, in our African dispensation, 50, 60 years ago, we're dealing with independence struggle. And our parents experienced a different lifestyle before independence, and after that, their lives changed, and we were born into a different dispensation. The life that we experienced as children was different from what our parents experienced. And the life that we are giving to our children as a result of this pandemic is going to be very different from the experiences that we had as children. The third point is COVID-19 has also shown us that our relationships now have usually been very surface, especially when we consider our relationship with technology and our relationship with other human beings. So this generation is mostly interacting with technology more than with other human beings. But then, because of COVID, what has happened is that we have to spend more time with other human beings. And we still are spending more time with technology because we have developed virtual communities, but the presence of other human beings, and these are usually our partners or our family members, we have seen a rise in incidences of conflict.
Okay, Marita, we seem to be losing you. Marita, can you hear us?
Include gender-based violence. So when taken in excess, it means that we are experiencing addiction. So we have been experiencing some level of addiction. A lot of us spend possibly 50% of our time on social media or interacting with virtual communities. So what effect has that had on our lives? So there are many levels that we can look at it. There we have got psychological effects where we're not able to interact with other human beings, and thus leading to the conflicts that I earlier mentioned. But also, at the same time, we're not really taking care beyond the psychological. Now it's the physical level. We're not really taking care of our health. So we don't seem to consume natural food because it's much faster and easier to use technology in food preparation, starting from the way we're growing our food. So we're not really taking care of our health. We're not spending time enjoying fresh air, going out running, exercising. So that has impacted on our health. On the positive side, technology has helped improve our health because certain lives would have been lost if, for example, we didn't have pacesetters. That is helping keep people alive, dialysis machines and all that. So depending on how we are interacting with technology, it can be harmful, it can be helpful to us. So my closing remarks here is that human interactions and connections are very important. Building community that gives us a sense of belonging has always been part of the human experience, and this is something that we need to cherish. Yes, virtual communities now are coming up and they're important, but usually they're very superficial. So COVID-19 is now letting us know that we need to get back to the basics. And the basics of life are that we need each other. Our sense of belonging, our sense of community is very important. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Marita, for that presentation. I think we'll get back to it after the next presentation by Siame. I'll ask the participants to pay attention to all the presentations that are being made on this show because of what value they add to our lives. So straight away, I would like to invite Clement Siame to make his presentation. Clement, it's your turn now. Clement, can you please unmute yourself?
Okay.
Okay, great.
Are you able to get me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. My presentation is very short. Sorry for that. Anyway, we had the challenge of electricity, so I'm just using a candle. I would like first to talk about how technology and human relations that have interfaced in the COVID-19 era. You know, as human beings, humans are inherently technological beings, or two users, or two users. Technology has without a doubt become a central part of human condition. That is for better and for worse. It influences humans just as much as humans influences technology. Uh, but also, as it influences humans just as much as humans influences it on their daily lives, but also as normal and ethical beings. Why I would say so? When you talk about the moral involves right things or wrong things, while ethical beings means conforming to accept moral conditions. This is doing the right thing. The impact of COVID-19 pandemic has caused everyone to revisit the global norms that have been backdrop for business for the last century, coupled with emerging technologies, social demographic shifts, and the political and economic uncertainty. COVID-19 has changed the entire economic and the geographical systems. In addition, the nature of trade has undergone a profound shift in an increasingly digital, interconnected cyber world. By this, I mean, during the lockdown, people were able to do certain things in one way or another. For example, banks were almost closing, but due to the technology or the relationship between technology and human beings, it made people easy to access monies through bank transfers from their bank accounts to the mobile devices. This helped. This helped people to this helped spread of COVID-19 from one person to another, because people were able to access whatever they needed within their localities. And also the benefits. People were able to save the monies. As you can see, when people are not moving from one place to another, in other words, they save money. They just get whatever they want from within their localities. Again, they introduced online meetings, online learning, which continued, which made it possible for everything to continue, like education. Education continued because of technology. Online meetings, like when they closed down the industries, companies, but people are able to interact through online meeting, which is technology. These are some of the benefits of technology. Then on the negative part, isolation and the loneliness in communities is a recognized mental health problem since the threat of COVID-19. This means people are not able to interact with the other people the way they were interacting. They can't do one or two things because of the COVID-19. On the other hand, when you look at the transport sector, these bus transporters, they need those people who are restricted to move from one place to another so that they can also earn a living. But due to COVID-19, they were not able to sustain their living. it made their lives very difficult for them to earn their living. Again, for us Africans, especially developing countries, COVID-19 should be treated as an eye-opener. We shouldn't be depending on foreign aid each and every time, because like what happened with the coronavirus, the most hit were the Western countries who are funders of developing countries. So we should find ways and means of finding our own resources so that in case such a thing happens, even if these funders, they say we are not going to fund you because we have this problem, we are able to sustain ourselves. It's a very good eye opener. So as developing countries, we should find means and ways of sustaining ourselves other than depending on foreign aid. Thank you very much. Hello? Hello?
Hello, thank you very much, Mr. Siame, for the presentation.
Yes.
Well, we have heard, I think everyone has heard, Marita presented and talked about how society has been disrupted and basically how people have got addicted to technology. And then we see that this somehow has reduced human interactions and leading to conflict, while also being aware that actually what is key to us as human beings are possibly our interactions, how we interact one with the other. Then Clement has also gone ahead to look at the fact that human beings generally are technological beings. They cannot do without technology. So technology is part of the human beings. And then COVID-19 has brought a major change in the lives of human beings. And well, it has both positive and negative sides. And ultimately, we have become a society that is open to the reality to say, we should be able to stand on our own because anything can happen. And what should it mean to us as a people? I think these are the issues that have come out of these presentations. This time, I would like to open up this discussion to the participants. You can now make your contributions. You can ask your questions before we can end our discussion. Any questions? Comments? You can ask questions directly to our presenters, or you can just make your comment on the subject. Do we have questions? Any questions? Okay, it seems we don't have questions. Please note that I've sent a message, and that is the topic for next week. It's COVID-19 and culture, progress or retardation of cultural heritage. That is what we'll be discussing next week. And in due course, we will send you a link that is within the week. We'll send you a link to that meeting. And at the same time, we'll inform you on who the presenters are. If you'd like to be part of this, you'd like to make to be part of the discussants, you are free to get in touch with us from the flyer that we've been circulating. This discussion is open to everyone in the world. Wherever you are free to be part of the discussion. You are free to be one of the discussants. Yeah. Now, a question that I would like to ask the presenters, either Clement or Marita can answer. There have been claims that COVID-19 is probably not real. It's just been developed, just to maybe for people to make money out of it. What do you think about these claims by conspiracy theorists to say it's not really there? It's just maybe something, a creation of the mind. What do you think? So either Clement or Marita can can answer that question, especially considering that we're talking about COVID-19 and technology.
I think,
yes, Clement.
My answer to that question maybe can be COVID-19 is real.
Okay.
If it was created as the people claim that it was just created for so that some people can gain something out of that, we saw how they were crying. Like the president of Italy, the Western powers, how people died and how they were crying. As we are not even affected, COVID-19 is real. It's only that us Africans, maybe we are immune to flu kind of diseases. That's why we are not affected very much. But it is real. It was not created, and we invited some health personnel at our institution. They said the COVID-19 is real, and the way flu is, there are a lot of thousands types of flu. So when you're affected with the one flu, don't think that the other time will be affected with the same flu. So COVID-19, those who are affected by COVID-19, when they're affected, it won't be COVID-19, it will be another flu. So COVID-19 is a disease which is real, and we need to just continue the social distancing so that we are not affected, because maybe it is getting hot in Zambia.
Okay.
Remember they say we are down if you may be affected at the last minute and it will hit you hard. So let us just maintain our social distance. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Otherwise,
Clement.
it is real.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Marita, can you say something on that issue, on whether it's merely created or it is real?
Okay, thank you very much. I think that's a very controversial question.
Yes.
Is it, natural, or is it created by human beings in a lab? Well, whatever the case may be, like Clement Siame has said, this thing is real and it is affecting us. It has disrupted our way of life, our way of doing things. So we have to find ways of living with it, and ultimately overcoming it. So a part of me thinks that, humans have degenerated and have become so cunning that they are capable of doing something like this. And I don't think that this is the first time that humanity has sunk so low. But also it is a call to ourselves to ask, what is our purpose for being on earth? And this is not a question about religion or science, but while you are alive, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? And this is now becoming a collective question to all of us. What legacy will our generation leave? Is it that we're living a harmonious, peaceful, loving, relationships with each other, or we have sunk so low, even beneath animals? Because animals, we see them collaborate, we see them, move together, hold hands. Like, think about the geese that migrate, every year. When one of them becomes weak and falls down, a stronger one will go down and make sure that the other geese that has fallen down, they find out what is going on. They'll stay with the other geese until it heals, or they stay with it until it dies. That's when they'll continue the journey. But for us human beings, are we capable of that? How have we expressed kindness and humanity during this time of crisis? It's not now about whether the Western world is helping, the rest of the world in combating this thing, but how am I relating with my neighbor, with my co-workers, with my students? What is COVID-19 revealing about my humanity and our humanity collectively?
Okay.
Those are my thoughts.
Thank you very much, Marita. I think the key issue that's coming out here is COVID-19 and human relations what really are our relations like? What does it say about humanity? So at the center of everything that we do at our center is our relations. You know, it's been argued by many people that I will not be without you. So there has to be another for one to be recognized. Similarly, there has to be animals for human beings to be. There have to be living beings for non-living beings to be. There have to be, you know, animal kind of human being, you know, of beings to be in order for non-animal beings, you know, living beings to be. So there are all those issues I think that should be coming to our minds right now as we are thinking through this. Richard Tembo says that according to some speculation world over, the pandemic is political, aiming at reducing individual financial power, hence the need for Africans to be self-sufficient. I agree that there is need for us to be self-sufficient. I'm not very certain about the political aspect of it, but really these are issues that are coming out. Everyone is talking about it from that angle to say that maybe this is a political issue. It is there to, you know, to somehow bring down those that are up there. It is all possible, but maybe what is key is, what do we do about it as human beings? How do we deal with it? Though, as we've already said, in our next discussion, we'll be talking about COVID-19 and culture, progress or retardation of cultural heritage. So that's what we'll try to deal with and see how we move forward as cultural beings, apart from being social beings. At this point, I would like to thank Marita and Clement for accepting to be the first presenters on this show. As I've already said, this is going to be a weekly show. So I thank them for accepting to be presenters. And I would like to thank everyone who was part of today's show, the first show. Thank you so much for being part of it. And we hope to be with you on our next show again. Thank you so much and God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.